All right, now we're going to hop into programming softjaws. Um, I'm not going to get too far into it, but it depends on what material it's made out of, how much run it is. I'm hoping that this one works based on the design. I know that it really does want to clamp in two sides, so hopefully there's enough in there. At some point, I want to start using a little dovetail cutter to get in here, not telling the machine it's a dovetail cutter for some of this clamping, but we will look at that in the future. But for now, let's just get into the basics. So here is our design, and what the end user is going to do is he's going to mill this part out. So the first thing that I want to do is I like to have a touch-off point that is that you can reference later when you cut the part. So let's say you take these jaws, or you take this vise off of the table, then you get to set it aside. You want to come back and you want to reset it up. Well, I had this origin here, which made sense at the time, top right corner of the vise jaws, but then we milled it out, so it's gone. So let's just pick a point. I often like to do it in the center, but this is getting a little crowded here, so I'm going to put it right here. So I'm going to make an origin sketch, or an offset sketch. So I'll show you that. And this is one line, one line. These are construction planes. And we are going to place a circle. I like it to be a 1/2 inch, but if I can't do that, I won't. 0.5. And this is not a construction plane. Finish sketch. No, this is not a construction line. Finish sketch. There we go. Whatever. D. No. Construction line. There we go. Top. All right. And dimension from here to here. Yeah. And I'm just going to have to make this smaller. No, I can make this work. All right, there we go. And I will go 1/8 or 1/50, whatever. Either way, what it is it is a hole that I know where it is in the fixture. So, you can run an indicator along here or on the back of the vise jaw, but how do you know where the offset is later? Well, we'll mill a reference spot on our fixed jaw. So that's right there. You know what? I'm just going to move it over to it just bothered me. It won't affect the milling, but now that we have that, that's fixed. So this is the programming point for setting it up again in the future. We will indicate the back of the vise jaw, and we will use a tool that sweeps this bore to figure out where it is. So there's our jaw. Now let's get into programming. So manufacture. So a new setup. Now, can we name setups? This is not any bigger than the stock 0. And we are not going to mill the face. So no additional stock. Where's the parts? Oh, in this case, our model is this and this. All right. Can you rename this? I would love it if you can rename it. Okay. So then we open up our programming library. So in this case, we'd look to see who the customer is in Jira, or we should already know this, but I should have showed this step earlier. Oops. So it is Alpha Tactical Systems. And we are going to go ahead and clear this stuff here. So will this work? I don't like how that did that, but and here's where I just kind of have to play with the tools a little bit. So we can drag a tool from in here. We're going to do it in steel. We're just going to grab this guy here. We'll do it at the 24 inches a minute. It's I want to get these presets built out, but they're not yet. And then you can drag it in here and select the tool. So now we've brought a tool in from a shared tool library. And we'll just see what happens. We can leave a little bit of stock and maybe we'll clean this up a different way. But let's go. Okay. Yeah, and that kind of did what we wanted it to do. Let's reduce the stock to leave though. And see what that does. It didn't really get in there any more than I wanted it to. So why don't we, before we do that, we'll just come in and bore those spots. So, and the idea is just to get the metal out in a nice clean way. Bore. I think we should be able to bore this radius. This one here. There we go. Gosh, I can even get some of these in here. It's not worth it though. You know what? Why not? Won't hurt nothing. Boring operations do not tend to fail very much, so that's probably not a bad solution to that. So we'll put that up first. What is going on there? All right. So now I want to get in here to this geometry too. So let's see what we can do there. I wonder if I can just add it to this, and you know what, I'll do a different one just so that I can change them independently. So it's a 2D, it's an adaptive clear. We'll get in here and grab this guy, this, that is way too aggressive though. So, but it grabbed the geometry we wanted. So we're not going to worry about the feeds and speeds right now. We'll come back and fix all of that. I probably should do it though, just because it would be more efficient. We'll grab this pocket. As well. Now there is now I don't use this one very much, but there is a toolpath that is really good for the floor. And is it horizontal? I think it's this horizontal, or it's flat. Let's try it. We'll put it in here. Can we grab this? Yeah, I don't want to use that. Oh, there we go. I think this actually does a really good job if I remember correctly. I should have done this first though, so I'll have to fix that. I might be doing a little bit of stuff out of order here because I'm playing. But yeah, it's just a really nice finishing operation. Okay, so before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to contour all the walls. And we're going to actually undercut them a little bit. So the wall will be lower than the center, just by the tiniest amount. So contour. Remember, this is not necessarily a race per se, so we don't have to do it very perfect, but where are we at? I'll just do an open chain. 1,